And let me go across to Mr. Atul Dinkar Rane because he's the ex-CEO and MD of the BrahMos Aerospace. And Mr. Rane, simple question. How has the BrahMos proved itself in this entire mission, would you assess? Because, you know, multiple areas where BrahMos has struck. Of course, if you go by the retired Pakistan Air Marshal, it was 4 BrahMos that struck the Bholari, airbase, taking out an AWACS, which is, of course, a huge, a win as far as India's side is concerned. But clearly, of course, in terms of the precision of the BrahMos, it has proved to be extremely reliable.
I'll start with
I apologize for the poor quality of that connection there. But Anant Krishnan, would you like to come in on that? The BrahMos, of course, is something that India has had for quite some time. There are multiple modes in which India can use it, whether, surface to surface, air to surface, and also the very fact that it is extremely reliable. It has a computer on board where the exact GPS coordinates can, deliver pinpoint precision as far as BrahMos is concerned.
Yeah, so before coming to BrahMos, I want to just add on to what Air Marshal Kapoor said. It's very, to me, we have hit their eye in the sky, the SAP system. It also shows a big tactical error from Pakistan, because apparently this system was on a mission. It came back, landed, it had turnaround time and come back and go for another mission. So we were watching it enter the hangar. So remember, it is just not that aircraft what we hit, the eye in the sky, but also there'll be a lot of people, in that particular base at that point of time. So the damage is huge, and systems, all that. Coming back to BrahMos, what else, India needs to celebrate Make in India, or, because first time I told you, in times now in the previous discussion that BrahMos has proved its might. By 2004 first flight, we waited for 21 years it to be used against an enemy target, and precision. And we, an Air Marshal, a top Air Marshal, also tells me that we used both land version and air version, more of air version. Look at the precision at which it, it has struck, and we had to really wait this long to see the might of BrahMos. It is one of the most deadliest supersonic missile in the world, and now we have another new facility that has come up in Lucknow. In a couple of years, I know for sure that a lot of scientists at IISc in Bangalore and many other academic institutions and missile labs are working on the BrahMos 2. So in terms of that, that particular thing, we have ticked the box, the supersonic
Air Marshal Rana, would you agree with that analysis? BrahMos really proving its mettle. It's been 2 decades in the making. Of course, we have a huge inventory of that. But, without getting into the specifics in this particular case of Bholari as well, do you think that it's a clear, and whether it's 12, whether it's 15, however many we may have used, BrahMos has really proved its might this time round?
Absolutely. I think we couldn't be prouder than this. The results are there for everybody to see. And this is the first time we have utilized BrahMos. And you see their accuracy, like I told you in the earlier previous attack as well, which we were describing on a command control centers. So its precision is in terms of just few meters. So, CP is this kind of this thing is not very much available in today's weapon system. And this is purely indigenous. The platform from where it has been launched is more or less indigenously produced. So I think this is something that India has come a long way in terms of our defense production. And coming to this attack in particular, that what I wanted to say is that luckily for them, this was not the mission, just returning with all the crew and the AD controllers on board. It was, I think, in the hangar, and there was a death of one air defense weapon controller. They talked about squad leader, who was probably, they just returned. They were working, probably downloading the data or doing some other, functions out there. There are a lot of airmen. They have agreed for 5. They've asked, they said 5 people died. But there could be much more.
It could be much higher. Sorry for interrupting you there, Marshal Rane, but we have Mr. Rane back with us. He hasn't gotten a turn to speak. Mr. Rane, in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the efficacy of BrahMos, perhaps the results are there for all to see, as several of our panelists are telling us. And clearly, of course, in this case of Bholari as well that we were just discussing, what is being claimed from the Pakistan side, retired Air Marshal talking about BrahMos, 4 of them being used to take out that AWACS there at the Bholari Air Base. Your reaction to what we are seeing before us?
First of all, kudos to Times Now for tracking me down in an unknown place. It's as good as the intelligence which our armed forces have. Kudos to them also for what they've done. And also, the design done started by Dr. Cog in the wheel. The missile has been designed to hit a target.
All right. Unfortunately, we have a very poor connection. I apologize for that, Mr. Rane, and to our other guests. But that's clearly, of course, the analysis as far as, the entire BrahMos itself is concerned. And Air Marshal Rana, would you like to continue? Sorry, I had to interrupt you earlier.
Yeah, so I was saying, this is it is not only the BrahMos. If you see the entire air operations that have been there, Air Marshal Kapoor will bear with me. I mean, the air operations are very, very complex. There would have been many, many other systems that were at play, many other platforms that were at play in those operations, whether it is related to the air defense or related to the, just for all these attacks, there would have been electronic warfare at play, a lot of communication system, air defense systems, to keep our own AWACS possibly would have been there and there. So most of these systems, almost more than 80% of these systems that were involved in those missions were all indigenous, whether it was related to AWC, it is related to Su-30 platform, BrahMos, and EW systems. So I think India has come of age, and this is one point that we must celebrate, that we got, unfortunate, but we got an opportunity, a real live laboratory for our weapon system to test. This is the first time all these systems were taking to the battlefield, and all of them proved very, very well. I mean, whether you take any of our air defense systems, or you take BrahMos, or you name a system that was there right from satellite constellation onwards, I think everything proved their mettle.
Absolutely. In fact, BrahMos really coming of age, as you rightly said. India, of course, in that sense, very, very significant that we have been able to bring, or at least as far as our indigenous production capacity itself has really proved its might in battle. Mr. Atul Rane, Air Marshal Kapoor, Air Marshal VPS Rana, Dr. Anand Krishnan, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. There's some breaking news coming in at the moment.